Hey, it's your boy Conserviz34. Just starting a live stream. I'll wait for see if some people come on here. Let's put the link as well in my Twitter. And then we'll see if we get some more people to come on. Try to get the right. All right, so we'll send out that tweet and then let me go back here. All right, so yeah, it's your boy Conserviz34 Saturday night stream. Looks like with the holiday, got some people typically are on commenting that aren't here. But thank you guys if you're watching this in the replay. Thank you guys for supporting my page. Thank you guys for watching my page here. I don't take that for granted. And today is a special day for me. It is the 7-year anniversary of my first Dave Matthews Band concert ever. This was May 25th, 2012. Band's coming off the Caravan, which was the first year they really just really cut back that touring in a while. And I got to see him in Hartford. Around this time, it's 8:25 Eastern right now. And around this time, I'm chilling on the lawn. I think it's El Mariachi Bronx is the opener. And the boys are about to get on right at towards sunset. And I get a stone opener. And that begins my journey as a DMB fan. And to be that deep into the band, there's no Leroy, and they are in the big whiskey era slash away from the world. Was just they were promoting that year. It was a time where you didn't get as much stuff as you used to, but with Hartford, some of the other two night stands back then, you got some special shows and had a Stone opener, had Blackjack, had what now became the Mansfield Jared Mar. Do you remember? That was played there as well, the first time ever. So my first show ever, I got the lyric ideas from Do You Remember, which is a cool thing, cooler than the actual song itself, as far as how I prefer it. But it is a song that Dave, it's tribute to a friend who's passed. So, but it's a song that actually in the tour getting a lot of play. And like I said last stream, um, not my favorite song, but I understand why when it has a memory to someone who's passed that's close to Dave. I can see why he wants to play it. But a great show and a great beginning to my journey as a DMB fan. Leading up to that show, very heavy into other artists. I just remember seeing BB King and Buddy Guy and seeing John Mayer and seeing a bunch of other shows. But when I saw Dave Matthews Band, it was just a special show that I knew that was, really was starting to get me into this idea of going to see an artist more than once. And just a very, very special beginning 7 years ago. All right, well, it looks like we're going to have people either coming on late or not at all. I understand it's the holiday, so I will get it started here. So, first thing that I want to talk about is DMB radio. DMB radio is a big thing that has come back. You saw my video this week, and I talked about that and what I hoped for. And as I reflect on the video, I think that my aspiration for DMB radio, as much as I want, it's not necessarily realistic about how much content can the band truly give to just the radio station. which will get a bunch of subscribers for a short period of time. But this is not streaming. This is not YouTube where the views and the streams, each stream gives you revenue, even if it's cents on the dollar, pennies on the dollar, or what have you. Viewership and profitability is much higher on XM radio. I mean, on the Spotify's and Apple Musics and YouTube's than they are on Sirius XM. So, how much can we see from the band? What content can we get? Maybe I'm expecting too much, but I really want to have them give us some special things, give us more than just the first, just some of the live tracks. But some of the stuff I want is realistic. I mean, I just resubscribed today, talked to different fans yesterday, and I think that's, some people love it and some people think it's okay, and some people are like, well, I'm waiting for the real live shows out here. So first, we want to talk about the Germany show, which I listened to about 50% of so far. This Germany show, Dusseldorf, Germany, this was released to the masses here on DMB Radio. There's been a couple replays. I caught one of the replays this afternoon, but that was the first Friday night concert stream. This was a selection from the European tour. So that show going here to my DMB Almanac page, which you guys cannot see. Dusseldorf was March 8th, 2019. And, you have a show that has 19 songs, a Nancy's to Warehouse, a Line in the Hands of God is So Right. And then it has a pretty standard set after that. And a Watchtower closer with the Stairway to Heaven partial in the middle of it. So it was a show that's not the best show you could pick, but it's the first week and warming up, get something that was more standard. But there are some things that I did like about this show, and this is what I wanted to talk about to start off. So the Germany show, I love the first three. One Sweet World to Warehouse to Nancy's is just a great experience. Having Nancy's Warehouse so early, it is a great thing to experience there. And then The Lying in the Hands of God, just one of my favorite songs from the band, just because of how unique it is. The stuff you get from Buddy, the stuff you get from Jeff Coffin on Lying in the Hands of God, special. It's a very, very special song to hear. And you have the American Baby intro. Interpolation of American Baby intro. And then Samurai Cop, we'll talk about in a second, but So Right, another great song that just fits the band well. And I didn't make the video this week with the surprise announcement of DMB Radio, but I will try to make a video next week about how So Right and a couple other songs fit this band well, and the instruments and the skill sets we have with what I guess you can call DMB 4.0 at this point without Boyd. What makes this 4.0 band, the pros, the cons, but I want to highlight more of the pros of what I like what they do. And So Right is one of those things. Now, Samurai Cop, interesting experience because Samurai Cop is Dave on an acoustic. And he's on an acoustic with the full band. And that's a special thing because the full band, usually he uses his baritone electric guitar, which cuts through a lot stronger and fuller, and with a little bit of distortion and some reverb for sure, like a U2 type reverb, as I call it. That cuts through, but with Samurai Cop with the acoustic guitar for the full band, a unique experience. It's a little bit different. Now, Dave has played Samurai Cop with the acoustic guitar. He did it for the Bernie Sanders. I guess that was a rally. I mean, I don't. He was trying to rally, but it didn't work. Said Bernie, poor Bernie. But yeah, people aren't. Anyway, I don't get to even politics, but the homie Bernie didn't get it done, and so he did that as in San Francisco, and then he's played it with Dave and Tim, which I've heard there, the Samurai Cop, and he played acoustic there, but he never put the acoustic, really, to my knowledge, I can remember, with the full band. Sorry, I'm always yawning at these videos because I have a long day at work. But so what do we see? Well, with the acoustic guitar having less noise than the baritone, we get to hear the horns a lot more, which is kind of cool. I didn't realize it when the first kind of listen, someone sent me a recording of their like listening to the radio. Then I got the XM package this morning again, signed up from canceling last fall, and I heard it and I really noticed the horns. Really cool to hear those horns. But the con of that is you don't hear Dave's guitar as much. Now, while the baritone guitar can be very abrasive and loud at times, and the acoustic guitar is more common, you just can't hear the acoustic guitar over Tim's playing and over the other stuff going on. Now, I didn't like how Tim, and this, I mean, this is just, I mean, Tim's amazing. The first verse, it's almost like they should flip the verses or have Tim not play so loud at the beginning of Samurai Cop. I think it should, the dynamics is the biggest, one of the things about this band that they can really improve is the dynamic contrast. Starting off, now they do this with Lionheart Graves, they do this with other songs. Recently, they get down to, when they play recently, they did play it a couple weeks ago. But I really think that they can get better with the dynamics. And the problem is with Samurai Cop with Dave on acoustic is Tim is playing, you know, with his reverb and with his distortion and sharp cutting notes. He's playing over Dave at the beginning of the song. And to me, it should be that you should save that for the second verse or save that electric guitar stuff for your solo and then after for the final chorus. I like the build up that the band used to have before we had Tim here full time. You don't see it that much. And you definitely like with Samurai Cop, it's a newer song. It's not a classic song. So Tim has more freedom on it. And it's just, and he's playing cool stuff, but it's when you can't hear Dave and you hear this like all cutting through, it's too much. I would love for the first verse to be quiet, the second verse to build up a little more, and then the solo and the last chorus really have the energy, and that's where Tim can go ham. Almost like You and Me does, where it's just Dave starting off and then it builds up. That's one thing I think about that Samurai Cop. But I thought that was an interesting moment for this band to catch that Dusseldorf recording. Thank you to the folks at SiriusXM. Thank you to the band for releasing that. I know they don't release a lot of music to the masses, so I don't take that for granted. But hopefully you guys release some more. Hopefully you guys keep the trend going. Here's the other thing is with DMB Radio, I've talked about it a bunch. I think what I've just come down to, and I've known this, but with DMB Radio right now, before we get to the real live streams of the summer, we're going to be able to hear this show in high quality or medium quality or low quality, depending on how you're streaming it. You'll be able to hear a live show from the soundboard. Before that happens, we're going to have people that have mixed bags about this radio station. Because as I listened to it for a couple hours today, I would say I listened, take away the live part of it, just listen to the regular radio station. I probably listened to about an hour today. It's very, very, very cookie cutter of the playlist still. But I think some people, I don't want to call them dinosaurs. They just need either the playlist, they need something to get them going. And this is something we see with Riot Radio, regular radio is FM AM radio is not dying. It's still here. People want to be curated, even if it's the same 5 songs, or even if it's if it's not a top-notch selection there. So I think that's just the reality. People want that. They need that curation. And it's really, that's why XM is still around. There's people that want people to play stuff for them. They want to have things curated for them where you can be your own curator and you can go on Apple Music and Spotify and they already have playlists, but people want it to be in like the radio station. The radio station just, some people want a radio, it says radio station, they feel comfortable with that word versus, hey, you can play radio on Apple Music. You can have a DMB playlist, DMB Essentials. You can have fan submitted playlists. You can use them. People just, they want it to say it's a radio. They want people to say Dave Matthews Band Radio. And I've had to come to terms with that, even though I kind of knew that's how it was. The other reason people want this radio station is for justification. People are insecure. I'm insecure, you know, and not about Dave Matthews Band Radio, but people want that justification. They want that gold medal. They want that plaque to say Dave Matthews Band Radio. We've been selected. We matter. You know, this band is it. People are going through the quarter life crisis with the band as far as their relationship with the band. Now that we're over 25 years, about to hit 30 years very soon. So I think that's a reality. People, oh, I gotta have this station. Well, if you didn't have this station, you could have Apple Music, Spotify. By the way, if you're a diehard D&B fan, you probably have tapes. If you're older than me, you're one of the OGs. You probably have tapes, you probably have CDs, you probably have all sorts of stuff that you can put on your computer, put on your mixed CDs, put on your phone, and on any other device you have, your iPad, and you can shuffle them and have a better playlist in D&B Radio. But people just there's a comfort in hearing D&B Radio. There's a comfort in hearing certain things, and that's why again XM does a great job of doing that for many different subscribers. And this is why D&B Radio is working, because the playlists to me are below average still. You know, they could improve it. Now, again, some of this is to just give the casual fan or the fan that just wants to be validated the standard stuff, because it's like too much to this, to that. And it's the same Earth, Wind, and Fire songs that they had from last time, the same Tool songs from last time. You know, nothing new there where they could mix those in. I mean, I got some Earth, Wind, and Fire over here. Can't hide love, or pick something else. But they're doing the same couple songs. I'm sure they're doing the same Stevie Wonder songs that they did before. But people want that, and that's not a bad thing. It's just it's not for me. And I think that's what I've always had to come to terms with. That is, it's not for me, but other people like it. So if you like D&B Radio, good for you. If it's making your weekend better, good for you. All I'm saying is, hey, if this thing ever goes away, just look up a couple of videos on how to shuffle music, how to put your music on iTunes, and you can shuffle all this stuff randomly. You can make playlists. You can find playlists from fans or from other users on these platforms that they'll give you hours and hours of playlists. And it doesn't say this is D&B Radio, but it's still great. But it is what it is, and I'm glad for XM. I'm glad for the band. I'm glad for the people who need this. So I want to just say, all right, I give up. You still shouldn't blame the XM for this. You should really pressure management. As far as you check my video out from this week, I say, hey, you're upset about this, pressure management. They're making this limited run. It's not like XM is saying, no, we're not taking all this content for a full-time radio station. No, it's the management saying, and that's not the best business decision for us right now. We're better off keeping stuff on streaming, limited run, get everyone hyped for the summer, and then we pull it out. Maybe we'll bring it back next year. That's what the management is telling me, to my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Hey, management, DM me, message me. And even if things need to be private, if I'm wrong, I'll shut up. If you have facts, and you're not just kind of, anyway. But I'm saying, like, I don't know everything, but that's what it seems to me. It's just management saying, hey, we're not doing that. But D&B Radio, hey, good for the people that like it. If you don't, hey, we have other options. We have the band has given the live tracks a lot of stuff. So I don't have to carry all the live tracks on my phone. I can download and add as I want from the first 20, and then the others over 20 I have saved to my phone. So it saves me storage there, and I can be flexible. So that's all I got on that portion of D&B Radio. What I want to talk about next has to do a little with D&B Radio, has to do a little bit with Nugs. Alan, just shout out to Alan here, because he has been a great help to me. And if you're watching this on the replay, Alan, I have to shout you out. I know you just messaged me things on the side. Alan Thompson from Ohio, who you'll see Talking Tunes is his name on YouTube. I mean, he's just giving me all this stuff. He could make his own videos, and they could almost argue better than mine. The knowledge and the skills and the expertise he has, the great points he has. But Alan brought up a good point to me over the couple of days ago, or this morning and yesterday, I would say, I guess to be exact, about this. Hey, look at what content we're going to get. And I did a little bit more math, Alan, because I think you were off by a week. But if we count this Friday, because I think that's what you weren't counting this Friday. You were saying from here on out. No pun intended. Um, we have 17 potential Fridays, counting this past yesterday, that DMB Radio is going to be in business before September 15th. 17 potential Fridays. Now, if they release unreleased music every Friday, that's 17 shows we've never heard. Now, about six of these, Alan did have this. I didn't check the math, but I trust this math. Six extra shows um, on the Friday off days, but no, actually it would be seven. I think that's what it was. But 11 live. Looks like we're gonna have 11 live streams. Every Friday show that the band is playing or Dave and Tim is playing is a live stream. That's 11 live streams. So that means we have um, 17 total streams, 11 of them live. That gets so 17. And then let's just say the other thing that's going to make this interesting, what is the band going to put up on YouTube? We had 3 YouTube Saturdays last year. Camden, we had SPAC, and we had The Gorge there. We had 3 different shows that were live streamed on YouTube on the Dave Matthews Band YouTube page. That's 20 live shows that you can get in some ways for free on YouTube, 3 free on YouTube, and then for that time, if you listen to it live, you can experience 17 other shows for just subscribing. There's free trials. There's 6 months trials. I think for some new people, I can't get that anymore unless I make another credit card. I ain't trying to do all that. I'll pay. Yeah, I got the money. Anyway, and this is a free weekend for SiriusXM. So if you have a car that has SiriusXM previously, has the capabilities, which a lot of cars do. Even my vehicle, my Hyundai Elantra, it has that capability. So a lot of the cars have it. If you got a better balling car than me, then you probably have that XM built in. So you can listen to that turn your radio on. You can get the channel 30 on the XM Sirius XM radio and listen to it for free for this weekend. And then after that, go to the streaming. The streaming is where it's at. Unless you're driving everywhere, you have long commutes, then maybe you get the radio packet. But to me, the streaming is the best because to me, I don't have that long of a commute. And then I can just stream it from my phone, Bluetooth on my car, and then on my laptop here at the crib. So I think the streaming thing is the way to go. The radio package to me just isn't worth it. Even if you have a 20-minute commute, put your phone up, Then you use the Wi-Fi at work, use the Wi-Fi at home, or you could, on your laptop. So to me, that's the best thing to do, Sirius streaming. Another thing we're going to talk about, this was brought up by Alan Thompson as well. Shout out to him. Again, I cannot thank him enough. He sent me a photo of where it shows on the Nugs page. What it says is be on the lookout for even more live track releases on nugs.net soon. I think the first 20 are on nugs.net. For those of you who don't know, nugs.net, what they offer is it's almost like it's like if you get the NFL Sunday ticket or the NHL center ice, you can essentially, for sports, you can get access to all the out-of-market games you want for a sport. You can literally watch every out-of-market game that's not on national TV like ESPN, ABC, or on cable TV like Comcast, NBC Sports Network, or TNT, ESPN. Anything that's not on one of those cable network channels or local for football and all these other sports, you can watch it all. Or any access to any of these games at any time, you can access them live or on replay. This is the same thing Nugs does for certain artists. They will do certain tours, maybe not every show, but certain tours. They will have every show that they play, you have access to that band to purchase the video stream or an audio stream, or sometimes just the audio stream. But you can literally go and follow some of these artists like String Cheese Incidents, Humphreys McGee, and you can pay to watch a live stream and keep that live stream after it's done. So this is a bigger thing than SiriusXM because you get video potentially and audio. Every Humphreys McGee show that I've been to is on nugs.net. I still need to buy 2 of them, but I have the other ones I own. So I can go to Humphreys and I can buy every show. Also, I don't tape as many Humphreys songs because I know that a lot of them are recorded. Now, if it's not going to be on Nugs, I'll try to put it up there for the fans. And if anyone wants to use it for tapers and multicams, they're more than welcome. But the the thing is, they don't have that for DMB. So what I would be more intrigued about is what are they going to do with Nugs? It says be on the lookout for even more live tracks releases. Past live tracks releases, are we going to get live? Like you can purchase your show on nugs.net. After you get out of the show, a day later, it's up on nugs.net from the soundboard. Boom, you download it. High quality, CD quality, MP3 quality. That's what every Humphreys McGee show I've been to, Dead and Company show I've been to, I could do that. And they have sales for certain shows. So nugs.net is a great resource for other bands. I would love to see DMB go this way. It seems like with the XM, that's going to complicate things. Can they have two contracts at once and really have the extent of the exclusivity on both? Because Apple Music and Spotify, they're just throwing the live tracks and Central Park and a couple other live releases that are older on there for you to stream because hey, they probably made the most amount of money they're going to make for that stuff. The newer live tracks, they want you to cop that from the website. So we'll see what happens there. But I would love for nugs.net to have more access. But again, we're getting 17 potential streams, 3 YouTube Saturdays. But I would rather have everything on nugs.net. No disrespect to SiriusXM, just for purchasing, because then you can keep that thing. You can pick, choose. If there's a special SPAC night too, you could get it. But then the concern is about the live tracks, because the live tracks make the money. The live track stuff not being released benefits this band and their families and the trusts and the wills of everyone that's putting this together, from the audio engineer to the guy who's mastering and all that stuff. These live tracks make everybody long-term money, so long as their fans still alive that care about DMB. And after this band retires, there's still going to be fans here. I'm 28, and Lord willing, if I make it through and I'm still here after the band goes and they pass, I'm 30 years younger than Dave and the crew. Carter, all those guys, I'm that much younger. So I'm going to still be here. If they release a rare show, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to have a larger income in 10 or 15 years than I do now. So I'll just cop everything that comes out. And these people know this. And that's why I think they hoard a lot of their music, because they have a lot of earning potential later on. And that's for their families. Okay. That's for their legacy. The sound engineer, the audio engineer, all these people that work with the band that get cuts, they can pass that to their family after they're gone, and that's important to them. That's their legacy. That's their next generation or next generations, that they'll get the revenue. So we'll see what happens with that. Sorry, I'm blowing those. The other thing, since no one's on, I'm just going to cut this Saturday stream short. But definitely leave your comments if you're watching this. Definitely like, comment, subscribe. It is an off week. It's a bye month or bye a couple weeks for the band. But I'm gonna be trying to talk in the coming weeks about, again, the songs I think the DMB plays best in this era. Another thing I want to talk about is the back in the studio thing. I want to make a full video on that. But to me, selfishly, I don't want this band to make any new music to put up as a promotional tool. They can make music for themselves, but I don't want them to make new songs. We're just getting out of Come Tomorrow. And if this band can go just like between Stand Up and Big Whiskey or Big Whiskey and Away from World, if we can just have with this band like 3 to 5 years of no new music, and this band then says every year we're going to bring back a couple things. Well, all right, we have to cross off all these songs because they're too high. John Dix, what up? So John, what I'm talking about here, I'm about to end soon, but what I'm talking about is my concerns about the band creating new music. Now, they may bring back some old and finish some old projects, and they may they may mix it, but I don't want another album. And I'm going to talk more about that on a video. And I know that's wrong. I know I'm wrong. Okay. Who am I to tell this man what they can and can't do? And as an artist, myself a very, 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 very small time artist. Um, so John Dix wants the Batson sessions. I would love to see that come out and finalize. My concern is that they are not going to go to that material. They're going to do like Dislikes Come Tomorrow. They're going to take a couple of those songs, two or three of them, and then that's it. They're going to bring out everything else. And what you know, the thing is that kills me will come tomorrow is they don't play Virginia in the Rain. Now, some people may think it's a snooze fest. It's not appropriate necessarily for most DMB shows. I love Virginia in the Rain, and not just because I was there in the pit for the first time it was played with Bradford. Bradford was at that show. I don't know. Can't remember if he played in Virginia Rain. But anyway, that's not the point. I'm trying to flex too much now. I'm feeling myself. I've been watching DMB for 7 years. Look at me. Nah, I need to chill. I need to chill, man. I ain't even seen Roy live. I can't be talking like that. But who am I to say? Yeah, this is a cool movie. All right, let me start. All right, but my concern is if they make a new album, that early home ABC Jam, they're not gonna pick everything that we want. Case in point, Crazy Easy. Well, not Crazy Easy. Sugar Will. Was Crazy Easy on the stand up companion? That's why I'm thinking it was on that. I think Crazy Easy was on the stand up companion. But anyway, the point is they're not gonna release. It's gonna be a mix of old and new, and the new music is gonna be not that good. Just from that, maybe one of the songs is good from the new music. The new music is gonna be not gonna like it's gonna be old and new. And you look at Joyride was definitely on the companion, and I think I have it. I don't know if I uploaded it to this computer. I had it on it's on a hard drive that I have, but because my friend he hooked me up with that companion, and the point is they're not playing Virginia in the Rain. They're not playing Idea of You, and not that I'm chasing Idea of You. I already heard it. It'll be cool, but I don't need it. Like especially with Dave's voice in this era, it's not going to be like it was. But he's not even playing those songs. He's not playing, Virginia in the Rain, which is, oh, you were at the debut of Idea of You. Oh, that's dope. That must have been interesting. Like they were on fire, just he's pulling out that red guitar. You're like, what the heck? And he plays it. That's dope. And the earlier lyrics the incomplete lyrics are the best. Yeah, the small. My friend was looking at buying one of those guitars, but I don't think he's not. My friend who brought me to my first show, my boy Pete. But the point is, they're not gonna just because the problem with a mix of old and new is they're gonna play the heck out of the new stuff. Samurai Cop. Now we have Do You Remember? She and we don't need to hear these songs. Come Tomorrow was played a lot last year. It hasn't been played that much this year. Knock on wood. But again, nothing wrong with the songs. The songwriting's not as good. The songwriting's not as good. But I'm gonna make a full video on that. I want to save that and organize my thoughts. But that's my concern about the new music. I just want this band to go back and say, what can we play? What can we not play? Because it's just physically impossible for Dave to play. And I'm sure there's a lot of songs they can play, but Dave just doesn't want to play them or doesn't want to go that far. And that's what I want from the band. That's why I love how the fact that they just played JTR and they cut out a mid-set sister, but they played a JTR off the cuff. That's what I want from the band. And Ants Marching Podcast, check out their new podcast that they just released today. They made a good point. They made a good point of what did they make? I'm trying to think what they said. I can't even remember what I was going to say, but they had a really good point about that. What was it? John says it's disconnect than what Dave wants and what hardcore fans want. Absolutely. And there's definitely that disconnect of that, and I think it's where he is in his life. That's what I think it is, because when you're going through and like even just getting married, the stuff that he's playing that's haunting him was still more fresher 10 years ago than it is now. And maybe every night he can get up and do that more. Now he's just happy. His kids are growing up. He's trying to be happy and leave a legacy, and they're the band's in a different light right now than they were. So, I mean, I would love to see. Oh, you know what they said on Ants Market? What it was is these guys are professionals. We would rather see them make attempts and make minor mistakes than actually perfect everything, which is true. 2010 in Hartford, my boy who got me to my first show 7 years ago, he goes to that show and they bust out all these liberations. Okay, JTR and Crazy, I think it was Crazy Easy, all this like break on or break free. Like they bust out a bunch of liberations. And my friend said it wasn't as solid as a show because they go into Texas. Usually that's when they start, and they're a little choppy. It's a little bit rough. They're not at 100%. They're still amazing artists. You can hardly even tell the mistakes if you're not someone who knows music and tempo and stuff. You can't even tell, especially with alcohol. Especially with that girl you're looking at right next to you in the lawn that you chase to the show. Anyway, stop. I'm snitching. I'm snitching on people. Uh, but it's really about the girls you was with. You don't care if they play Crazy Easy. If it's the girl you with or you went on a date where you're hollering at in the lawn, looks really good. Okay. I'm preaching, right? Y'all know, y'all can relate. All right. Anyway, the point is what they, even with that being shaky and they know as talented musicians what they did wrong, that still was a great show for my friend. He's not saying, well, they didn't play that right. He's like, yo, that was one of the best shows I've been to in my life. So that's what Ants was saying. Ants podcast, the great folks there at antsmarching.com were saying, make the mistakes, take risks and make them. Now, is this going to happen overnight? No. But the fact that they're starting to take risks, they're going to have time off. And then maybe you get to Camden, maybe we get to Hartford and Mansfield and Spickety Spack and Deer Creek, and maybe they take more risks. Maybe they do it here. They're taking risks in Des Moines, Iowa. What risks are they going to take in SPAC, Alpine? That's the biggest hope that we can have for this band here is that they're going to take risks. And there's time off, so I really hope they enjoy their time off. Jeff Coffin will be playing May 30th with the Flecktones at Red Rocks, and obviously DMB is too big to play Red Rocks at this time. It's just, and they had different things with the crowds there the last years they were there, so they're not going back. Maybe you get a Dave and Friends, and even that would just be crazy. Maybe a Dave solo, and it's a fundraiser. That's the only real thing I can see Dave Matthews doing at Red Rocks is some fundraiser as a solo artist for some liberal, super uber liberal guy who's giving out free college and free. We're gonna give a program. We're gonna give people $500 a week, and you won't have to work, like that type of Democratic candidate, and everything goes. I'm getting too political. But I mean, unless someone comes out of Colorado like that, or it's like some fundraiser to support shrooms being legal in Denver, and they go out to Morrison, Colorado, and he plays for it. That's the only thing they're doing. It would not be a full band show, in my opinion, even in the later years, if they subbed out certain artists, like if Carter retired and he brought in his own another drummer, they still would fill up Red Rocks right now. Maybe, who knows? I just don't ever see, because Red Rocks is such a special event. People would literally go that hadn't gone in 10 years. So, but Jeff Coffin is doing Red Rocks, by the way, and he'll be there with Bella Fleck and the Flecktones. And I really sometimes I've been critical of Jeff, but I mean, Jeff Coffin is that guy to come on and sacrifice something, to ask for the blessing from his other band, and then to come on and take on this fan base. He's done a heck of a job, even though I've said like, oh, I wish this, and that, and the horns are too loud. Man, Jeff Coffin's done the darn thing. If anyone could have done it, he could. And there is no one that could do that in Boyd's case. You can find someone that you got Brian Calhoun's wife, who can play, violin, and she probably knows the music because she's around Brian in the band. But I mean, you have violinists that can play, but you don't have a violinist that's opened up for the band, that's toured with the band and hopped in from the 90s for 20 plus years before even being a full member. You don't have that. So this is what it is. The band's moving on. Ants talked about that. Definitely check out the Ants podcast. They talk about the violin. I disagree with the Ants in the sense that, and he said, the Ants podcast said, yeah, there's fans from 2014 that don't care, and I'm from 2012 on, and I've been a fan since the mid 2000s. I don't care about the vibe. I just want to hear these freaking songs, man. I want to hear Last Stop. I don't care about a violin. If they play Lie in Our Graves, play Lie in Our Graves. I would love to hear it again. And I've heard that song like 3 or 4 times at this point. Electric full band, 2 times I think acoustically with Dave and Tim. Hartford in Spickety Spack, Hartford Farm Aid in Spack, and I won. So I've heard it without a violin. Obviously, full band's different, but I just want to hear this. I want to hear the deep cuts only, fam. I want to hear some of this stuff. I don't care if there's not a violin. But again, I guess I am someone who came onto the band late. But I've taken losses. The band seems, they're standing on that rock, saying, "Look, right now we good. We don't need to replace it. So it's almost like a sports team that like they lose a GM and then the coach becomes the GM, but he's really good at it. But yeah, you probably need another GM because it's going to be a difference. But that they're saying no, we're not hiring another GM. Coach Belichick will be the GM, and we'll win a bunch of championships. Despite that, and have one receiver who can catch the ball, which that actually happened. Patriots, got that dub. Yeah. Well, anyway, that's all I got for today. Thank you guys for watching. Definitely like, comment, subscribe. It's your boy ConcertViz34. Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, ConcertViz34. If you guys want to cash at me to help with, I'm trying to get a new camera for my recordings for live shows. Cash App is ConcertViz34. I've never asked for donations, but if you want to support the cause, help me to get a better I'm on this busted down laptop right now. You can hardly hear me. So if I get donations, I can upgrade my equipment, maybe get a phone line or something. Even if it's like a soft phone online. Cash App, ConcertViz34, $ and ConcertViz34, just like my Twitter and YouTube. But yeah, I'm not saying you have to donate, but if you do want to donate, I appreciate the support. That's all I got. It's your boy ConcertViz34. Peace.